Welcome to another episode of the Reboot Chronicles, a no-holds-barred forum with global leaders, authors, entrepreneurs, and CEOs about how organizations stay focused on growth and innovation in unprecedented times. I'm your host, Dean Tobias, coming to you live from Reviv's North American headquarters in Chicago, and we would like to thank you for joining us from around the globe today. I'd like to welcome Tom Ward, Walmart's Senior VP of Product, who's driving some serious growth initiatives and partnerships that I think are pivotal to the future of the competitiveness of this retail giant. Most of you know that Walmart is the largest company in the world, with annual revenues of over $500 billion. That's with a T. I don't get to say that very often. They've got over 2.2 million employees serving about 265 million customers weekly at over 11,500 stores and e-commerce sites, of course, in about 27 countries as of today. You know, impacting top-line growth at such a vast organization like this is not for the faint of heart. It brings a whole new meaning to the overused innovation phrase that we use called at scale. But in talking to Tom, I've noticed, after 58 years with a fierce competitor in their crosshairs, it feels like Tom and his team are just getting started. So Tom, welcome to the show. And it just seems like you guys are hitting on all cylinders these days, even in the midst of a 2020 global lockdown pandemic, all kinds of other logistical issues going on around the world. So how's it going over there?
Yeah, look, first off, thanks very much, Dean, for the opportunity to talk to you guys today. But I think you're right. I mean, I think it's a great compliment to hear somebody feel like we're firing on all cylinders. I think honestly, Dean, partly we feel like this is just the beginning. We're on this phenomenal journey. The landscape is changing so fast, and clearly, the last 6 to 9 months has really accelerated that change. And it's given Walmart an opportunity to truly shine and demonstrate just what we could deliver to customers using our assets and our technology and our kind of innovation to bring this business to life. So really excited about what we've done, and probably more excited about what's still to do.
Yeah, you seem to have a lot of the critical frontline innovation programs going on. I mean, many of them you've already launched, so once you launch them, they're old news, even though some of them were just launched in the last few weeks, like Walmart Plus. Personally, I'm a big user of, pickup, not so much delivery with you guys yet, more of an Amazon delivery guy, but I'm sure you'll change that. You'll change my behavior. Pickup has been amazing, essential, I probably should say, during the pandemic. I've used it in multiple stores. How has that been going? I mean, my guess was you were just flooded. I know I always had a hard time getting time slots, and now that's totally opened up. It's a different world, sitting here in October versus March.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. What's funny is it feels like we've been rehearsing for something like this. Who could have ever guessed that the landscape would unfold in the way it's unfolded, this year? But honestly, we've been working hard to lay down this huge footprint of pickup convenience. And really, Dean, this is about the omnichannel focus that the business now has. We have these brick and mortar facilities that are, phenomenally distributed across the US that allow us to reach 90% of America, within, I think, 10 miles of a Walmart is the stat that you hear. And now, obviously, the closest Walmart to most customers is actually the one in their pocket. It's the app on their cell phone, and connecting those assets to that technology comes to life through pickup. And so we've been scaling this proposition, as fast as we can for the last few years. And then to your point, as we get into the COVID era that we've seen recently, man, has there ever been a time where customers need the convenience and the confidence and the safety that the proposition like pickup provides? And so, we've been really proud of how our teams have adapted to that change.
I'll add another word to that: consistency. Also used as a King Soopers out in Colorado, not real consistent pickup experience. They had to stop it in the middle of the pandemic. It was just too much for them. They just pushed delivery instead. So, kudos to you. I'm sure you're just at the beginning of it. It's nice to have a footprint. Not too many other retailers have that. Walgreens, CVS, maybe. Amazon doesn't have that kind of reach. So we can talk about that in a second. But let's jump to you guys are like the king of trials and prototyping, which really probably, like you said, prepared you for this dress rehearsal that you went through for years. Walmart Plus just launched, and So tell me about how is it different from, Amazon Prime customers and the benefits they get, and
Yeah, I mean, our focus with Walmart Plus is truly on the Walmart customer and the folks that are interested in saving time. And we described it. I think I love the description as like the ultimate life hack. So for a monthly fee or for an annual fee, customers can connect to Walmart in a way that really we've never given them an opportunity to do before. And so we're really excited to present. And Dean, it's just the beginning. And at the moment, as you look through the different propositions that are involved with the Walmart Plus membership, we're
yeah,
truly focusing on that omni-channel shopping journey. And so there's the kind of free unlimited delivery proposition that customers, need to expect and help them live their daily lives, manage their budgets, and kind of almost a set and forget when it comes to receiving deliveries from our stores. But that wasn't the only thing that was included. People are moving around a lot. Even during the pandemic, as we look to the car as being an extension of the home and the office for busy families, fuel discounts were really important, and so they were incorporated into the membership program available at Walmart gas stations, Sam's Club gas stations, Murphy's gas stations, distributed across the US. And then as you look inside the store, when we went in to understand what do customers truly need when it comes to a membership, and I mentioned the shipping and the gas, but people still shop in our stores. I think people's decisions aren't binary, Dean. Every time you launch a new proposition, I think there's a temptation to think, well, everyone used to shop in the store, and now they're going to shop for pickup, and now delivery is available, so they're going to shop delivery. But really, it depends on the situation. And when it comes to time-starved busy families, we wanted to remove the friction that customers experienced in store. And so Scan and Go is an awesome proposition as part of a membership for Walmart Plus.
yeah,
And so
yeah. It's
picture going through,
right here on
there
your
you go,
phone.
exactly
Yeah,
right. As you're going around the store, you're scanning your own items, and then you kind of checking out and leaving the store to save all that time. But equally, shopping from home and having that kind of free delivery once you've signed up to be a member is just as convenient. So it really is about choice.
are you going to add other things to that benefits package? Like you've got Voodoo and all types of things. You guys have streaming music? I can't remember if you do.
I mean, I think that the focus is definitely going to be to understand what does the customer want us to solve.
Yep.
Where are the points of friction in their life, and then how can Walmart help solve that friction? So I'm excited about what we've released. I'm excited about what we might release in the future, and the whole focus of this is going to be, what do our customers tell us? Where are they spending time that they wish they didn't, so that they can spend more time with their families? How can we help them save money using our capabilities and our footprint, and how can we truly connect the business in an omni-channel fashion, like you said, Dean, in a way that honestly most retailers just can't do.
Right. Not consistently, not well. So let's just talk about some of the pilots you've done. I think I counted anywhere from 3 to 5 drone delivery pilots that you've been running. Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, we're excited about this as well. And drones are one of those things that I think you buy it, and then you take an aerial view of your home, and then you wonder what to do next, right?
Yeah, I don't know
So
where I don't
it's
know where
it's
mine
like
is. It's been gone since a couple Christmases ago, somewhere around
that.
here.
That's right. Well. In that vein, we decided to make some really exciting partnership announcements. To focus on some folks that truly know what they're doing with this technology, and it's really interesting. So, drone providers and the operators that we've announced partnerships with, which are Drone Up, Zipline, and Flytrex, they're all similar but different solves of this technology, and they're experts in what they do. And we're experts in obsession about solving customer problems. And when you bring that partnership together, you can do some really cool and innovative stuff. And so, recently I was out in North Las Vegas with one of our partners, Drone Up, watching them deliver COVID test kits to customers in that area via a drone. And it's awesome. This is a 10-minute round trip, and people are just blown away when they see this thing, turn up in the sky. So we're really excited about this.
Yeah, that one was like the hanging bag one. There's another one that looks like a plane almost, or a glider.
Hmm.
Which one was
Yeah,
that?
no. So that is our partner Zipline.
That
So
was
they're a
Zipline. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. They're a phenomenal. They're a fixed wing drone, and so it doesn't look like the kind of thing you got for Christmas 2 years ago. This is a very different kind of technology. It's launched from a site, and then it actually deploys the package to the customer via a biodegradable parachute. These are conversations I certainly never thought I'd be having,
Brilliant.
but yeah, here we
Yes.
are, right? And so we're really excited to get that live. That'll actually be tested here in Northwest Arkansas in the early part of next year. And so very different solution. And again, Dean, you said it. We test lots of different innovations. If it's going to help save our customers time, it's going to help save them money, and it's
Yeah.
going to bring together our proposition in a way that makes sense, then we're open to whatever that looks like. And here's some great examples.
I watched the zipline video. I've actually got it up right here on the screen. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm having flashbacks to like World War II movies where it just, how do they get so? I mean, it's literally like a plane, at least in the video. It's not. So how do you control the pinpointing, make sure the package gets to the right place?
Yeah, I mean and it actually has a really wide radius. So these bots can go many many miles, and if you
Yeah.
think about actually the way our stores are orientated, this presents an incredible opportunity because we've got these huge assets that are distributed near where lots of people live, and so if you're a drone provider, whether you operate within a mile or two of the location, or whether you operate within 20 or 50 miles, you can actually get some incredible coverage. And in terms of your question on how do you get the accuracy right, Dean, that's exactly why we're partnering with these experts because, I'm pretty sure I know how to solve the customer's problem and what they might want delivered, but I'm going to let these guys tell us how to fulfill that
Right.
and land the package accurately.
Yeah, I just don't want it on my roof. That's all. Then I'll have to
Right.
I'll have to go find my drone to get it. It's probably with the 3D printer somewhere in the basement. Anyway, so what about urban areas? I see all these drone demos that we've done them for power companies and worked with all types of companies. Yeah, what do you do in these big cities?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's back to the various landscapes and the legislations and the rules, and I think we're learning this together with different providers, and we're seeing some really innovative behavior from these different companies on how they're working, alongside the legislations and the different restrictions that we see across the US that are in place, rightfully so. And you leave it to the innovators to solve those problems, right? And understand if there's a need for this technology and there's a demand for this, and it can be done, sustainably and at scale. Then we've got lots of great examples in our past, of where Walmart's lent into an innovation, and once it makes sense for customers, regardless of where they are, if it's
Right.
something we can reach them with, then we'll try it.
And you're also doing autonomous land-based vehicle tests,
Uh-huh.
right? What's going on there?
Yeah, so another good example of, as we're trying to increasingly figure out how do we remove friction, how do we remove costs from this ecosystem that our customers are a partner with us in. We've been testing various different kind of autonomous vehicles, and we're trying to understand with partners like Neuro, what does the experience look like when a vehicle turns up, and you get a notification to say, hey, your goods are here, and you dispense them yourself, and then you get back on with your day. What
Hmm.
freedom does that give to our customers? What does that allow us to do? And in terms of our flexibility and our speed, all the way through to partners like Gatic, which operate here locally, and actually move merchandise from dark store locations to live pickup locations, in order to help us leverage our assets and our base in a way that continues to lower the cost the business incurs, and then we can pass that saving back on to our customers. So we're always really proud that when it comes to online pickup and delivery,
Yeah.
there are no hidden fees. We don't mark up any of our items for the convenience of free pickup, and we have a delivery fee structure. Obviously, unless you're a Walmart Plus member and you've kind of paid that cost up front, but you pay the same for the box of Cheerios regardless of how you get it. And so we're always really interested in the innovative technologies like autonomous vehicles that help us lower our costs, and then, by extension, pass that back on to our customers.
And your app has come a long way too. I've been a student of kind of Walmart Labs and starting out in Silicon Valley. You guys had some fits and starts, and like any corporation culturally, but you seem to be really, like I said, hitting on all cylinders in terms of tech partnerships. Any other ones you might want to highlight that are coming to us soon, or that have helped you guys kind of navigate this complex for you competitive world?
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned the app, and for the longest time we had kind of two apps, right? We had the what we called the online grocery app or the orange app, and we had the blue app, which was
Right.
our Walmart.com, and predominantly a ship to home and an in-store tool. And when you
And it's
stand back and
still,
think,
yes, I still have the choice to go to either one when I first
you
log
still have
in.
the choice. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
probably,
the real estate on your cell phone screen is valuable to our customers as well, right? And so we were
right.
using up two tiles. We were asking customers to kind of go in one direction for one thing and another direction for another. And so as we focus on, solving the omni-channel challenge that customers are faced with, then going to one app made lots of sense. And you can expect to see continued enhancement, Dean, in that space for sure, because it's just about removing friction to services, to capabilities, and to shopping solutions for customers. And as it relates to partnerships, while there's something innovative that we should experiment with, if it makes sense for our customer, and it makes sense for the business and the partner, then we're all in. We'll lean in, and we've scaled things really quickly in the past, and I'm always really excited and really keen to see what the next innovation is going to be around the corner, and who we can partner with to accelerate that.
Yeah, and more importantly than the technology is just the omni-channel is kind of dead. It's like it's all kind of come together. 2020 really spiked digital adoption. You guys obviously were lucky being deemed essential. Not other industries, not so much. But it's interesting to see what's going to happen with consumer behavior over the next few years. Where it was two different worlds. Now it seems like it's very integrated. And so let's just touch on some of the, as you've kind of come into the Walmart culture a decade ago, and you've built out some of the most, some of the coolest stuff. You've been in product for a few years now, right? What have been some of your biggest challenges that you've faced?
I think some of the biggest challenges is kind of what you just mentioned then, which is the customers expect an interaction with a business. Especially like Walmart, and they expect that interaction to solve the problem they've got. They don't want to necessarily see the plumbing, right? They don't want to see the work that lives behind the
Exactly.
scenes, and you certainly don't want to display your organization to the customer through the technology.
Right.
And so I think one of the biggest challenges is how do you take all that away? And you know what? Quite honestly, Dean, the key to being successful, I think that we've enjoyed over the last few years has been focusing on falling in love with the problem the customer's got. Don't fall in love with the solution you have. And if you go about, you work with that mindset and you focus on never failing the customer, then you're constantly disrupting yourself in a way that actually drives innovation and forces us to think about, beyond the confines that we might impose upon ourselves. How do you actually solve the problem holistically? And, like I mentioned, we should remove all these different points of friction and focus on the occasion the customer needs us to serve as it. Maybe they need a really fast delivery. And so we'll introduce something like Express. During COVID, maybe they don't want to interact with drivers or associates at curbside. And so we made the entire process contactless. And we even gave at-risk folks, as defined by the CDC during the height of the pandemic, their own pickup and delivery slot so that they could get access to the essentials that they need. Because people think about us as a brand, they don't think about us as kind of two different businesses that live under one roof.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like you've learned a lot from the hospitality industry. The When you look at, you mentioned the pandemic and the different things you've done to appeal to different customers. I think 7 to 8 a.m. is your at-risk type of openings, which is smart. The What we've noticed, Revive has an index that tracks all the online behavior of people using different retailer and brand apps, and usage obviously is anywhere from 200 to 400%. That's old news, but the amount of integration of searches has changed. So health and wellness, and it used to be beauty and skincare were like together. Now it's like health and wellness and beauty, and supplements are tying into skincare, and people just psychologically and demographically have had much more time to like focus on themselves. How have you noticed? What kinds of impacts have you seen? Let's just take it with your pickup service, but whichever funnel you want to use, it could be e-commerce, but the shopping cart dynamics. Some stores call it consolidated buying, where they're going to using Amazon or Walmart or Target just to get as much as they can because of the pandemic. What have we learned?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and the whole dynamic changed, and things that were once extremely valuable actually became an obstacle. Face-to-face contact during the beginning of the pandemic's a great example.
Mm.
You get a pizza delivered, and who'd have guessed that the good the good version would be to leave it on my doorstep and move
And
away,
be
right?
nice and cold, and don't let me know it's
Exactly.
there.
But
Yeah.
but you know what? We had to then build that into our delivery. Contactless delivery became kind of a table stake, and so what was very awesome about the situation was that the solution that customers needed was crystal clear. And what's great about Walmart is that when we focus on a problem we want to solve, we can solve it really fast. And I think that's what you've seen us do. But people might have made multiple trips, and then they start to consolidate their behavior. To your point, so we basket sizes changed, and the kind of dynamics, the contents of what people wanted to buy changed. And if you were sitting becoming a teacher for the first time in your life because children are at home and they couldn't go to school, and all of a sudden you needed things that you didn't think of, like printer ink. Well, that's great. And so you mentioned this earlier. People need a pickup slot. They want a delivery window.
Right.
So we opened up hundreds of thousands of additional slots. And what we saw was the flattening out of people's day. So the kind of traditional spikes of, I'm driving to school, I'm driving to work, and so I'm going to do a pickup on the way back, or I'm driving home and I'm going to go to a sporting event. The spikiness of the day actually flattened out. And that gave a fantastic opportunity for us to
Uh,
serve customers in new ways, because
so
2 p.m.
usually,
became as
usually we
good
all
as
show up
6
at
p.m.
5 o'clock to 7,
Right,
right? When we're getting off work. Wow. Yeah.
exactly.
Interesting.
And so that allowed us to open up all kinds of capacity and new ways to serve customers. And then, Dean, I mentioned Express, which is a proposition we're really proud of. I think we launched it in a matter of about 10 weeks from trial to about 2,500 locations right now. But it was a great solution for two things. One, what am I going to eat for dinner tonight?
Right.
So you didn't have to worry about finding slots. You could get something delivered, on that, well less than 2 hours on average across the US. And equally, how do you entertain kids, right? If people are at home, you need ink for the printer so they can do schoolwork, and then you need something that they can play with, and whether it's a sporting equipment, whether it's something that you play with outside as the weather's good, and now as we see the weather changing, board games and things like that. Well, Walmart has hundreds of thousands of these SKUs available, and often they're very close to customer. And all we need to do is solve that problem by connecting the dots and figuring out how we want those connections to be made.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, talk a lot about and keynotes and stuff about companies your size, and which there isn't any, but and lower, and we call them BFSs, big, fat, and slow. And Walmart and the retail industry has been notorious for the slowness. You guys have totally pivoted over the last few years. Doug, your CEO, has been pretty vocal, has done an amazing job of somehow getting agility throughout your organization. I'm sure it's not everywhere. There's some places where you want to go a little slower, but it's fascinating how quick you've moved. I mean, I remember you guys were running a trial on in-home delivery, meaning I'll go, I mean, Amazon still is playing with this, where I can get into your key lock through the phone. I can go into your fridge, put everything away. So COVID happens, shut that down. Now we're going to do a contactless delivery. But I don't think anyone understands the magnitude of scaling that to, let's just call it 10,000 doors and every zip code in America. It's a whole different ball of wax.
Yeah, no, it's a really exciting opportunity. Like I mentioned, we definitely move with great speed, and I think we look at the scale, Dean, as just being what an awesome opportunity, right? To serve more people, to influence more lives, to help more situations than most people get the chance to play with. So, it's always a very humbling thing to see customers engage with the proposition. Um, and honestly, we constantly disrupt ourselves, and if you don't disrupt yourself, right, you get disrupted. And so that mindset and that kind of focus on truly falling in love with the problem and not the solution helps us move towards new innovations and get them in front of as many people as quickly as possible.
Yeah, yeah, and I think Doug rightfully identified Amazon years ago as like, hey, it helps to have a common enemy in the in the industry to go after. But you guys have really stepped up, and I just right now this is probably the strangest Christmas season we're going to go through as a retail industry. It's like Amazon Prime Day started this week. We've got Target Deal Days, not very creative names. Walmart, I think yours is called Big Sale. I think for Black Friday, you guys have announced you're going to do deals for days, as in
Hmm.
multiple. And it feels like to me that this is the Black Quarter. It's like this is going to go on every day. So you mentioned the flattening of the day. That's interesting, but the attention span of the average consumer is, I don't know if it's more open or closed, but I've found that a lot of small indie brands have been able to get into channel and get consumers' minds and mind share and wallet share online. So there's been an interesting acquisition strategy by smaller brands, given the pandemic. But I see a very bizarre Christmas season coming up. So what's your perspective on it?
Yeah, no, I think look, bizarre is probably an interesting way to think about it. But between Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and what was traditionally Black Friday,
Yeah,
we're in for a really exciting period of time, and I think honestly it spells just good news for customers because you referenced various propositions that are coming up, and Black Friday is probably a great example, Dean, of where we went back to say, well, previously people would line up and crowd into stores one evening of the year, and during the current conditions, we want to make sure that the way that customers shop with us is safe and honestly
right.
something you'd want to go out and do. And so we broke down the deals for days, and for the first time, we're going to activate curbside pickup for those deals. So, multiple events, which helps customers plan, helps us spread out the way that they think about the different occasions. Maybe it's a TV, or maybe it's a piece of apparel, or maybe it's the hottest toy, whatever it is that you're going to be excited to get at a great price. And then how do you get it safely and in a way that maybe you can do it from the couch, right? If,
Right.
if people are staying at home during that period of time, we don't know what Thanksgiving dinner is going to look like this year. Maybe it's going to be over Zoom and distributed, or maybe people will be together in different situations. But if you can secure those hot items and then pull up outside our store and have us load them into your trunk, then that's probably an awesome way to engage. And then equally,
Much more civilized too.
well, equally, we've got the in-store events as well. So there's definitely lots to be excited about, and it gets me excited to think about all the different solutions that I'm really confident we're going to be able to bring together, so that regardless of how you want to shop, this holiday season, I'm confident we're going to have the best prices and the best assortment, and we're going to get it to you in the way that makes most sense for you as a customer.
Yeah, it's almost like another rapid beta test. I mean, it was. I was going to ask this question before, but you kind of just answered it. It's like how with omni-channel dead. And I mean that in a good way. Meaning people are just doing it instead of us talking about it. It's just seamless. When people come to do pickup, typically they pick up and they leave quick. It's like it's a great experience. But how do you actually change that behavior when things loosen up? To I know you came in to pick up, but and maybe getting them to come back in the store, doing both on the same journey. You thought that one through?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is to just focus on what's the occasion you're solving for. And
Mm,
so, you made the great point. There's various things we've built out through the technology with pickup, over the years. So live tracking. So at the moment, we ask customers, if you check in on your way to the store, you actually give like a virtual heads up. And so maybe, Dean, your pickup window was between 1 and 2 o'clock, but if you leave the house at 1:15 and tell us you're on your way, we actually take that signal, and our personal shopping team then say, hey, Dean's on his way, let's consolidate the order, so that when you pull in, we're ready for you. As things have become more busy,
yep.
lots of cars sit outside those stores. And so then when you arrive, we have what we call curbside check-in. And so you'll pop up and say, hey, I'm in spot 7 and I'm driving a white vehicle, if we didn't know what sort of car you'd driven, and then we'll remember that about you in the future, so that as you pull in, somebody's walking towards you with the thing that you ordered, because the reason people use that solution is to save time.
Right.
So we don't want to mess with that. We want to make sure that you get to save the time. But equally, the shopping experience inside our stores is phenomenally exciting. We've released some recent kind of updates to how we're thinking about making that seamless design, that you referred to earlier as kind of omnichannel as table stakes. So it's really about solve the problem you've got. And the app's actually going to play a leading role in our physical shopping experience as well, whether it's about navigation, whether it's about scan and go, Walmart Pay, all the things that help remove pieces of friction that traditionally slowed you down, regardless of the channel that you select.
Right. It's brilliant. Tom, I really want to thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. Maybe just to close out, let's just talk a little bit about retail trends. Typically, we ask like for some personal advice, but I'm more excited about your brain about what's coming up next. What are we going to see over the next couple of years in retail trends that you're excited about anyway?
I'm like, well, I can speak. I'm excited about lots of things, Dean, but I'm going to try and narrow that down, which is I think, what this year has taught us is that the convenience wins every time, right? And if you can save customers money, you can do it in a way that is ultimately the most convenient way. The customer rewards you with their business, and the business keeps getting to innovate for the customer as in return. So I think we're going to see a rapid acceleration in an expectation of convenience. And I think it's going to blur the lines. I think it's not going to be good enough to just be really great in one section, physical retail, or really good at shipping products to home. Customers want to do both, and they want to engage in every channel that you present to them. And so now, what's the innovation that's going to help you do that, right? And who gets there first, and who can connect those dots the best? But I think convenience. I think it's going to be a huge lift in speed and convenience as a focus.
Yeah, well said. You've been listening to Tom Ward, the Senior VP of Product at Walmart, and we wish you a great holiday season, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks very much, Dean.
Cheers.